Greetings! It is time to make the noise, to summon the stream. Greetings, dear viewers. I'm Quill Quickcard, and welcome back to the Community RPG Maker Project. Just give me 1 second while I definitely do not stall in order to get the chat updated. Definitely not stalling at all. Alright. We have been working on this Necropolis for a really long time. If I check my... Yeah, if I look at my playlist, when did we do the first stream building the Necropolis? Whoop. Stop it. There. The first work we did on the Necropolis was 6 months ago. It was January 2025. So we have been working on this for a while. I have done a crap load of work since the last stream. I wanted to start by showing you this image. This is the new area that I was constructing over the course of this last week. The Grim Furnace. This was the first form of the Grim Furnace's map. Then, this was its next form. And this is what the Grim Furnace looks like right now. Today we are going to be finishing the Grim Furnace. We are going to be also finishing the monsters in the furnace. And we are going to add the event to introduce the fight with the dragon. Last time we made the boss fight for the weird zombie, which of course has funny crowbars, toxic textbooks, and can eat rats. And we made the Dark Breath ability for the Dark Dragon, which shuffles the HP of all the characters around. And I made some work on that as well. And since then, I have made several more enemies, including, yes, at last, the Amogus have finally been integrated into the project. They are an enemy that can appear inside the flesh dungeons. We've also got rats, stone fairies, reanimated dogs, flesh spawns, infested spellbooks, unburning bones, the gross rock, Zalter Zeit, the zombie. And there's two enemies we're going to work on today, the Furnace Flame and the Furnace Phoenix. Enemies are now set in the Undermines, along with various treasures. The Infected Mine also now has treasures, as well as enemy placements. The Wallachia is completely set, so that when it, after you do the big scene, after the armory, you can buy a bunch of new stuff. So, the Pun Master is still not introduced. A random chance for the Among Us to evolve into an imposter. They are all imposters. That's just the lore. So, basically, let's go through and quickly reach the Grim Furnace so that we can show off some of the stuff that I have been making. I'm only going to show... That boat just teleports to areas where I'm currently testing. Honestly, that's a whole pain in the ass. Let's just focus on the Grim Furnace for today. So, you get to the end of the Flesh Dungeon, and let's see if we can't be lucky enough to run into an Amogus. We've got the grossrock.png. The rock enemy is returning from the lava dungeon. And like before, if you hit the rock, it will counterattack. So let's see if that is working as intended. Yep, there we go. Perfect. So, the trick is to just kill the enemy that is accompanying the rock. Jesus, Thatcher. Honestly, I'm not surprised it's going this badly. There is definitely a difficulty spike for this part of the game. But anyway, now that that enemy is dead, you realized you can just walk away from rocks. And so you walk away from the rock. So that works. The Amogus are in here somewhere. So this way leads to the Grim Furnace. So let me show you how the Grim Furnace works. I'm very proud of this. It is a series of minecart tracks, taking you to different areas. So this one, for example, takes you there, which doesn't really help. But throughout the furnace, there are levers. And the levers change the direction that the minecarts travel. So now this minecart takes me over here. And this lever now changes the direction that this first minecart goes. And we go in here. And we flip the lever again so we can get back. And now this cart takes us over here. So that's the gist of how this works. So there's a few things that are going to happen. There will be a minecart here. And if you take it normally, it just takes you to this empty room. But if you take this cart down here and flip this lever, then this cart will take you up here, which changes this one so that it goes straight up. By default, this one just takes you to another empty room, and this lever over here causes this to go left, which goes to another room with a lever, which you have to do to access that. So once it's all accounted for, basically you take a cart here, it guides you up, up, and up, and then another cart here, and then that goes over here. And then this lets you access the actual, like, furnace room itself. And this is where you're going to fight the Dark Dragon boss. How do you make a counter move? Like, not a built-in counter, but like a counter in Pokemon? I genuinely do not know how you would do that. I don't know how you'd be able to track the amount of damage that was received from a previous attack. I truly don't know how you would integrate that. I think you would have to resort to some kind of a plugin for that, but unfortunately I'm not really able to direct you to what type of plugin that would be. Anyway, so we still have a few minecarts left to build to make this work. Minecarts that just go in one direction and have no alteration have 2 pages of events, which honestly, now that I've got them into this state, basically the only 2 parts of it you have to check are the player and event movement, as well as what direction you move when you get off. So they're easily copy-pastable at this point. The harder ones are ones that can go in different directions, depending on the track, because they get 2 extra pages for every direction they can go. So this one, which can go to 3 separate destinations, I believe is going to have 8 pages. That's going to be a hell of an event, but let's work on this one first. So this is Furnace turn 3. So the first thing we're going to do is adjust these to behave differently on Furnace turn 3. And now we adjust the movement. So right. Which is, by some craziness, the exact number of spaces needed to go. And then we'll just copy all the move right commands, delete all the ones from here, and paste those right in the middle. And boom. And then lastly, the player at the end of this track will move right. And that's it. That whole page is now done. So it moves all the way there, and then it activates the self switch. So the self switch, when A is active, means that you have taken the cart over to this spot. So this page needs to take you back. So we just delete all of that and left. Is that right? One too many lefts. And we just grab all that, copy paste it, move it all here in between all those. And the player move left, which is fine. This page is now done. So moving on to page 3, this is where the track is different and it's taking you up instead. So right, up. Okay, so it needs 2 more rights and 1 less up. Perfect. And we just grab and copy all of that. Then we move it all here. And at the end of that track, you move up. And that's it for that page. And so finally, the last one to make this work, we move down. Nope, not right. We need lefts. Left. So from this starting point... Ooh, I very nearly got it perfectly. Just needed 1 more left. We grab these, we copy them, and copy the specific movements onto here. Boom. And at the end, move left. And that should completely function as intended now. Well, the reason I said always there's a bigger fish is that the music that I'll play during the Kraken fight is called The Bigger Fish. I know it's a cephalopod, but let me have that. Yeah, I don't have any problem with that. You can have it for sure. Alright, so let's check the new minecart. Okay, regular. Regular works. Regular return. Regular return works. And alternate direction. Alternate direction works. Okay, the only thing I need to change is the direction it faces on that event page. And alternate track return. And boom, we're done. It is just that damn simple. And the direction that would have been going and it stopped moving is up, so we just change that to face up. And there we go. This section of track is now done, so now we lay the actual road. Everything has been color-coded, so that I was able to track exactly where the different things went by order. So, for instance, in this first map, the reds were the directions you went after no levers. The blue was after this lever. The purple was after this lever. Here, the purple's all the places you go without pressing any more levers. After you get, it's there's an extra room I added that's not represented here, but you get it. In the end, it all works, and that is enough to be proud of. So we'll just have a track stop here, a track stop here, and a track stop here. And now we just lay all the track, and we're done. That is completely finished. And we'll just put a pile of coal and a shovel here in this room, along with another shoveling vent. That should be fine. Okay. This track is going to be the long one. This one's going to be very involved. So before I get to that one, I think I'd rather do this one here. Just for the sake of simplicity. So this one is going to be different depending on the position of furnace turn 5. So furnace turn 5, furnace turn 5, first track. Goes left, 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 up, up, up. So close. That right? Perfect. I also need a couple. I also need like at least one item idea, one kind of a treasure to find here in the Grim Furnace. There's been a lot of armor treasures, so I need a weapon treasure. Thatcher uses. You know what? Screw it. Just throw out weapon treasure ideas. We're not going to discriminate. We're just going to throw whatever in here. Any valid idea that pops up. I mean, we've already got a Mogus in this game, so Molten Pepsi, sure. I don't quite want to do a Pepsi, simply because in the Infested Mines you do get the expired Pepsi, and then slightly before that you do get the Pepsi Blue. So that's my only stipulation, is that I don't want it to be Pepsi. Thatcher basically uses knives, but we could do other ritual implements. Malter uses bows and guns, and Elena uses a sword. So, if any of that strikes your fancy or anything, we're not. I specifically don't want this to be Pepsi. I don't want this to be soda themed here. There's so much soda theme already in the areas leading up to this dungeon that I don't want to do it again just right now. That's really my only stipulation. I just want it to not be in that theme. Aside from that, it's basically fair game. There is more to this game than just soda references. Not much more to it than soda references, but a few things more than soda references. A discus launcher. Okay. We're going to have a powerful gun you can find for Malter, then. That's what we're going to go with. Thank you. And left. Okay, one more left, and then an up. That should take us here, which it does. Good. Copy all of the specific movement stuff. Paste it here. And move up. That's fine. And lastly... Right. Okay, so we need 3 more rights. Okay. That's good. Copy. Move it to here. Perfect. And then at the end of that travel, you move right, and at the end of this travel, you move up. So that should be another track completely finished now. Let's check it out. How do you do it so there's an enemy, but it's only targetable, can be damaged if every other enemy in the fight is dead? I can show you that pretty easily. Just let me finish testing this first. Okay. So this is regular. Regular works. Regular return. Regular return works. Activate alternate. Alternate travel works. Alternate return. Alternate return works. Okay. This entire section can get the minecart treatment then. I've been designing it this way so that it is very, very easy for me to keep track of which areas I have done and which areas I still have yet to do. And so far, it's worked absolutely perfectly. So all that leaves... Whoo, boy. All that leaves is this one that has 3 different destinations. That's going to be involved. Okay, so how do you make an enemy, or how do you make a troop where the main one can't be hurt? Okay. So there are a few ways that you can do that. The first way would be to have a group of enemies. Actually, let's remove that. Let's make something for testing purposes. This is going to be demo. So let's say that we have demo, and demo is the boss. That doesn't look like a very intimidating boss. There. Okay. That's the boss now. So the first thing you could do, like one of the easiest ways that you could do this, would be at the start of the thing with a span of battle, you apply a state to the enemy that just makes it so that it can't die. And you could even, like, modify that state so that, like, it would take 0 damage from any element. if you want it to be that it literally cannot take any form of damage whatsoever. It's very easy to do. As long as it resists the dead condition, it will not die even if it drops to 0. But it can still take damage. If you want to make it so that it can't take damage, you can just give it complete resistance to ailments. And then what you would do is run a couple checks where whenever one of the enemies dies, if the other enemy is also dead, then it would remove that immortal condition from the boss. And then you would just make a copy of this in case they kill the other crab first, where you would just reverse the order. So now, whichever crab dies second, in either case, it will remove the immortal condition from the big bad. Another way you can do this, and it's a little bit more involved. Let's say that you don't want the enemy... you don't want the enemy to be targetable at all. That is a bit harder, but there is a way I can think of off the top of my head to do that. So basically, what I would do if I wanted to make it so that it was present but not targetable... Actually, no, that second method wouldn't work. No, the other method I was thinking of actually wouldn't work if you wanted the boss to be acting. So this is how you would at least have the boss be present, but not killable until you take out the minions. Alright. Back to work. Let's finish working on this last minecart. Let's go ahead and play the music that plays for this part. Wah-ba-ba-da-da. Okay. This is going to be the tough one. No problem, Cole. Glad I could help. So this first path goes over here. Actually, let's copy one of the ones that goes in different directions. Okay. So this is Furnace Turn West. And then this is Furnace Turn West. And then we also need a version for Furnace Turn North. North supersedes everything else. Okay. I'm realizing now that probably I could have done this entire system using only self-switch A. But that's fine. There's nothing inefficient about doing it this way. Okay, so this one is going to start by facing up. On the way back, it's going to look that way. That one starts by going up. This one starts by facing that way. This one goes by facing that way, and then this one also goes by facing that way. Okay, move up. Move down. Okay, we can take the move downs and quickly copy it here and here. Alright, let's do this. Up, up, right, right, up, 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 up. Is that right? Not even close. One less right. And we need 3 more ups. Up, up, up. Right, 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 right. Whoops. We need another up. We need a couple more rights. Okay. So, 1 more right, and that one's done. Okay. And then we copy that entire sequence of movement onto here with a move right command. Perfect. And now the return command. So that has a bunch of move lefts. Good. Down, 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 down. Okay, remove 2 of those downs, then add some left, 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 and then a down. Is that right? We just need to get rid of 1 of the lefts. Okay, that is a reset. Perfect. And copy all of those movements here. I want to do this because one of the post-game bosses can only be killed with an OCO move that doesn't apply dead but deals damage. I want the boss's arms to kind of protect it, but the boss can't even be whittled down because it restores 99% of its HP after each turn, making you use that OCO move. Yeah, I see what you're getting at. Okay, next page. So this is when we are trying to go west. Honestly, we are probably best just taking all of this. Boop, 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 and left, 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 left. Okay, 2 more lefts. Boom, easy. And copy all of that movement, move it over to this one. Do-do-do, do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And on this one, we want the player to move left. Okay. And now the return trip. Copy because it's easier. Do. Right, 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 right. So from a starting point here, we need 2 more rights. Go. Perfect. Copy all that movement and put it over here. Just like that. Starting there. Okay, return trip works fine. Not bad. Alright, moving on. Wait, hold on. Damn it. Okay, I copied a player event instead of the minecart event. So player just needs to start with speed 5 and end with speed 4. So... speed 5... and in with speed 4. Okay. Now let's copy this and move on to the next page. Get rid of that. Move that. Boop, 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 boop. And this time, we just add some extra ups. And that's perfect. Let's actually take out one of the ups. Good. Copy all that. Okay. Good. Okay. And finally, a return trip. Okay. So get rid of all of the rights. Starting from here, we need like 4 more down commands. 1, 2, 3, 4. And perfect. It is just that easy. Okay. And that moves down, that moves up. Okay, let's go for testing. Another post-game boss is kind of like the game's main villain, but as the fight you should have had with him before the fake-out true final boss. You can throw your enemies as immune to earth as a metal. Love being game dead because I can make my RPG's weakest enemy have a move that deals 50% of a character's max HP. Yes, you can. Alright, let's do our tests. There are 6 modes we need to test. So here is regular mode. Regular mode going forward. That works. Here's regular mode going back. Okay, that's regular mode going back. Here is alternate mode 1 going forward. Ah. Okay, I know exactly what I messed up there. That's fine. Here is alternate mode 1 going back. That's fine. Lastly, alternate mode 2 going forward. Yeah, that's easily fixed. There's just a wait command where there shouldn't be. So that's alternate 2 going forward. This is alternate 2 going back. This lever should not work right now. And it doesn't. Good. So now let's try alternate mode 2, but with the switch on the left toggled. This shouldn't make any difference. It's... okay. I see the problem. So we've got a few issues here. First off, player wait. We don't want it to wait there. This one is alter a player wait. That's self-switch C. This one is not turning self-switch C off. Okay. That should correct all the problems here. Let's go check again. We already know that regular mode works fine, so let's go with alternate one. Alternate one moving forward. Alternate one forward works. Alternate one back. Alternate one back works. Okay, alternate two forward. Alternate two forward works. Alternate two back. Alternate two back works as well. Now we'll try it with this one toggled differently. This should be the same as the previous alternate two. Alternate two forward. Still works as intended. And alternate two back. Okay. That works. That works absolutely exactly the way I wanted it to. That is perfect. So we have a track terminus here, a track terminus here, a track terminus here, and a track terminus here. Woo! Just like that. And just like that. And one more corner piece there. Get rid of the extra I accidentally dropped. And then finally and lastly, alter the terrain. Just like that. Now I am curious, does it look any better if I use the gaps? Let's take a look. You really can't tell that it's a gap, it just looks like a hole. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that! Oh, that is so damn sweet. Okay. The Grim Furnace map is now very nearly complete. I just want to have a little bit more. I want to have a key in this room that you have to collect to unlock a door here. So first, I need like an overhang. That's not really a good placement for an overhang. How do I actually place something like this? No. How does a door look here? I want it to be like a very sturdy door. Honestly, this is like a ridiculously thick, heavy looking door. I like that one. I think this works. And let's try self-switching it, and then self-switch that. Okay, let's see how that looks. Mid balls are earth type, and normal balls don't have a type. Booby trap and trap balls are dark plant, and dark and rocket, and artillery and fire and metal. You seem very heavily inspired by Pokemon in your designs. Okay. Okay. Alright, that works. But it's not quite what I'm going for just yet. Let's put that there. Are we able to walk past that spot? No. Okay. Let's... Okay. We're going to copy dungeon. That's right, because I manipulated the tenting on this one. Okay. This is going to be furnace dungeon. And the only difference is that this tile will be passable underneath. So then we just have to change the tile set. And that should function. Did I put a through on there? Yes. Okay. Pokemon is like the only RPG I played other than Paper Mario and Mario and Luigi. All excellent games, though. Alright, moving on. Does this work the way I want it to? That works. That works. That is exactly what I wanted it to be. I don't think there's anything less obtrusive than that I'm going to get. I mean, that's okay, but it's also clearly wood. And obviously a wood platform there just isn't going to really work properly. Oh, okay, that's metal. Yeah, I think that's fine. This one's passable underneath. Okay, that works. That works. Yeah, I think that's good. So now we just need a skeleton here. And the skeleton is going to have a glowy thing on them. So where can I find a glowy thing? Okay, this is a glowy thing. So it's going to have a custom route with a high frequency. And the route is to wait 2 frames. And then, let's see, it's facing down. So turn left, 2 frames. Turn right, 2 frames. Turn up. And we repeat the movements. And action button. You found a... You found a heavy looking key. There is a... Okay, you found a heavy looking key. That's fine. We'll just add this as a key item. Item number 57. Okay, that's fine. And then self-switch A. Item number 57. So this will require a little bit of backtracking. Honestly, I think that's okay. What I need now is to copy one of my doors. There we go. Copy a door. Grim Furnace. The door we're going to use is... Ooh. Ooh, I think I might like this one more. No, that's fine. We'll go with the caution tape. Okay, so this only works if you have key number 57. The player does not move. But this does turn on a self-switch. Copy. If the self-switch is on, you don't do anything. You just have through active. And you stay open. And otherwise... Elena will actually comment on it. She'll be like, it's locked. And then Malter will say, the key must be nearby somewhere. Okay, now we move in. We create item number 57, which is just another key. This is the furnace key. A thick metal key labeled furnace maintenance. Pretty sure that's the correct spelling of maintenance. Yes, it is. Also, we have now basically finished the minecarts. And lastly, we are going to increase the encounter rate a little bit. Alright, let's check. Alright, let's test the entire Grim Furnace, the entire part. Are you sick of me yapping about my RPG all the time? I don't mind. Nothing wrong with being passionate about things. Not at all. Besides, this kind of sharing is always useful to help inspire ideas in other creators, myself included. Alright, let's go through the entire Grim Furnace sequence. If you haven't done anything, this minecart leads here. Otherwise, the minecart leads here. So, this minecart goes back and forth normally if you haven't done anything. Good. There is a save point in here, which I think is appropriate. So there's the first lever. There we go. I don't quite know how all of these, like, fuel piles go into the furnace. I guess they probably, like, I don't know, go to some kind of shaft down below with a pilot light, but this aesthetic is really more about just making sure that this feels like a unique dungeon than anything else. And I think it does that pretty well. Okay, that works. This one goes over here just like it's supposed to. That works. So next I need to access the northern path. Okay. So now this one goes over here. And this makes the path go north. This one goes north. This goes over here. Okay, it is very obvious that there is something here. Like, that is extremely obvious. So let's check this door first. It's locked. The key must be nearby somewhere. You can see the sparkly bit on the screen. Good. You found a heavy-looking key. And that gives you a thick key labeled Furnace Maintenance. Good. Imagine Rui eating in microwave. Hello, Aubrey. Welcome to the stream. I am making sure that this dungeon is now completely finished, at least as far as the pathing goes. So we turn that off. It's actually a fairly simple puzzle, but this is the type of thing that, if you're not efficient, can keep you running around and backtracking more than you need to. Which, I think it's fine when it's something this small. There's not going to be any random encounters while the players are, you know, just moving along the tracks at least. And there's really not a lot of steps that players are going to be taking in between the minecarts, so there shouldn't be too many fights the player has to do in this area. Good. And this one should take you up here. And the last minecart ride should take us over here. And then this unlocks the door. Perfect. Okay. And we do walk underneath that, which is good. I can actually lay a few of these so it looks like there's just a cover here. I think that's an interesting idea. Change the sound effect, and then this opens into, like, the actual furnace. Like, this is where stuff would actually be getting incinerated. That's perfect. Okay, everybody. So, I don't want your honest opinion. But I do want whatever opinion you think will, you know, feed my ego most. Because I do like getting an ego boost every now and again. What did you think of that? Because I think that was absolutely beautiful. Okay, yeah, so now there's like a set of things that you walk under. Cool. So now we need a different opening sound. Okay, we need to decide. Do we want sound effect for opening this metal door? Do we want opening effect number 9? Or number 6? Those are the two I am decided between. This is open 9, and this is open 6. Open 9, open 6. Which sound do you all prefer? And also, once that's done, we're going to have the player take one step forward, just so that it's clear you can walk under those. 9 makes it sound important. I think you're right, but I do want to lower the sound of it ever so slightly, increase the amount of frames it takes to open. That should be fine. Wait for completion. Player takes a step forward. Okay, and we're good. Okay. So the last thing I want to do is put a couple of these here. Change the tiling here to that. There we go. Make the walls here look taller. And I think I also want to double layer them. Just to give the feeling of like greater size. Layering the ceilings can make an area feel a little bit bigger, a little bit more robust, especially if you're trying to represent verticality. Okay, that's fine. And then lastly, we're going to put a door here. This is just going to be a door that you can't access. And it's going to look like this. It's not going to do anything. There is a sign It reads... There's a sign. Furnace control is shut down until... Furnace control is offline until further notice. Okay. And that same as player's action button. There we go. Just like that. Okay. I think we're done. Now we just need to make a new weapon. So this is going to be a cap gun. What tier of equipment are we on? Wallachia 2 Capbow gun has an... Okay. So the last one we could buy in the store was the recurve bow. No bottle cap references here, just a high-quality military-grade bow. But we are going to have the discus launcher, which is going to have an attack of 48, a price rate of 2,000. It is going to increase the critical rate by 4%. What if the discus launcher does fire attacks? Ooh. Hold on. Cole, I'm about to put a new name into this, and I want you to tell me what you think. First, we change the element to thunder. No, fireworks. And we call it long distance or the welding rifle. What about that? We can pass it off as a tool. Like something that's built for welding, but intended to do it from a distance. You know, because that's probably safe. The welding rifle. We can pass it off as a tool. Dumb idea, add a cat loafing on the furnace for warmth. I can do that. Okay, a dangerous tool used for repair work would serve as an excellent weapon. Not vibing with rifle, but do with welding. What would you go with instead of rifle? Welding gun? I could just call it like the ranged welder, distant welder, something like that. In the meantime, welding spritzel, because it shoots out the sparks like it's spritzing. I'm not so big on that, but I have no reason to deny it other than personal taste. So, it is the welding spritzel now. Oh, Increases critical rate. A dangerous tool used for repair work deals fire damage and increases critical rate by 4%. There we go. I always like giving as much information as I can. Alright, the welding spritzel is added. Now we need a cat. Maybe even make it have a drawback because it's a makeshift weapon. It would be doable, but I think my plan for it is to set that treasure up here, because this is going to be hidden from view from most people. I don't really want, like, special treasures that you find to particularly have drawbacks. Animal. Where is the nature? Nature. Nature. Okay. So, Granny will comment, what's a cat doing here? And Elena can be happy about it. And Malter can comment, there's still some hot air coming out of the vents. It must be enjoying the warmth. And we'll have Elena just be really happy about that. Okay. And we will start that off with an expression from the cat. It'll be like, meow. Along with a sound effect. There we go. And that will activate a self switch. And on that page, we don't have the text, but we still have... Nah, we'll just go with a regular meow. Alright, there we go. We now have a cat. Enjoying the heat. But we do say that it is on a vent. So we should put a vent there. And we can put a few vents in the other fuel intake rooms as well. There we go. Might be worth putting in like a little bit of steam if I can. It should just be very, very light though. Very wispy. Nothing too crazy. Let's see. Do I have anything that works better for just being very wispy? Are those the exact same? I think they're slightly different. This is other two. Other two. Yeah, the steam at least is basically the same. Oh, here we go. Okay, yeah, a very, very, very minor flame. Okay. And this is just always going to be above the player. Does that look okay? Let's take a look. Have you played PvZ? I don't recognize the acronym, so probably not. Okay. I think we need to put that on the event itself. Plants vs. Zombies. Oh, hell yeah. I 100% the original Plant vs. Zombies. Well, whatever version was on the 3DS at least. Okay, yeah, there's like a little tiny wisp. I like that. Okay, that works. And we'll have it facing this way. And we want to change priority to be under the characters. Okay. And now we just copy paste that over every vent. When it comes to like industrial scale, like furnaces and crucibles and other heating apparatus, they can retain radiant heat for weeks. Like, it is insane how long some industrial material can maintain some elements of heat. Might have already been done, but YOLO catnip that automatically defeats cat enemies, lowers attack and defense if the cat enemy is a bot. We've already established that cat boys and cat girls are a part of this world. We can definitely integrate that concept. Catnip to defeat cat people. I love that. Okay. So yeah, I admit a welding tool might make more sense here than a gun that launches discs. I think it works. I love this. I love that. Look at that. Look at that. The tiniest wisps of smoke. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, how does it look up here? Okay, that's good. Wait. Those are supposed to be above. Okay. And then that'll cause it to be above the event as well. Furnace control is offline until further notice. That's fine. We find the heavy-looking key. Okay. That is absolutely ideal. Furnace dungeon. We're running that one. For the sake of making it feel a little bit more complete. Okay. It looks a little awkward here. I don't like that. But we don't actually need... yeah. Yeah, that works, that works, that works. Okay. So we'll say that, like, this entire inner area is probably, like, the furnace control. Okay. And then this area is just black and borders it like this. Oh, I love that. I love that. That's great. So this actually makes it look like there's, like, a substantial interior section here. I can imagine for the welding spritzel that pick of the shower spewing sparks. Yeah, exactly. Okay. We're good. Now we just need to place a few treasure chests. And we are done with everything in the furnace except the event that activates the boss. So the treasure with the welding spritzel is found here. You found a welding spritzel. Okay. And let's use a nice looking chest. Honestly, this one's fine. Okay. So that is the welding spritzel. Now in the other dead ends, we're going to have a couple other things. So in this direction, you're going to have bottles of Pepsi. You found 3 bottles of Pepsi. Okay. And down here, we will have 2 Crystal Pepsi. You found 2 bottles of Crystal Pepsi. There we go. Okay, I think we're done. Viewer suggestions sounds cool. Hello, Moblin fan. Yes, I have been working on this RPG for, we're actually coming up pretty close, just a couple weeks away from having been working on this project for a full year. And, yep. It's been an interesting time. Let's see. We're gonna, like, put a shiny thing here. This is where you're going to find the sealing implements. So these are going to be ritual tools. Ritual tools. Yeah, I think that works. You said in the gacha game, every character will have one move that only they learn. What will it be for Aerie? Let me actually check my gacha game notes. So these are basically the ones that are probably going to be used for the ultimate specials, for attackers. So one would, deal a massive bit of elemental damage to a single target. One would deal non-elemental damage to multiple random targets. One would do non-elemental damage to the entire enemy group. One would set a single target's defense to 0. One would do damage one would just take off 50% of the target's current HP. And one would apply a damage over time effect to the entire enemy group. Does one of those strike you as especially interesting to you? Because if it is, then we can just go ahead and say that Aerie has dibs on it. A bundle containing a diamond. A bundle containing a small diamond-tipped rod. The big damage one, because she's Big Shuda. So the single target but massive damage. Is that the one you're thinking for Aerie? Because we can definitely do that. Yeah, okay. Big single elemental is going to be Aries. Senzu's Dave player hacks epic Fortnite X. Add a hook shot. Okay. We are adding that to the future notes. At some point, we are adding an area that uses a hook shot mechanic. That's happening in the future. Thought of a reaction using that's just the dragging character in this game flipping us off. Hold on. Hold on. We might be able to do something with that Let's see. No. Just give me a sec. I'm opening up something on my other window here. Image, faces. Where's my dragon? You mean like that? Is that what you wanted? It's actually very, very funny to me. Closer to the neck. Oh, man. Okay, so if he's facing that way and holding up, that is correct. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and add this to the project. So this is going to be Dragon Face Bird. There we go. Alright. Dragon flipping you off has been added to the game. I don't know where we're going to use it. I like the idea that at just 1 point, for no apparent reason, we just have Ryu flip you off. A bundle containing a small diamond tip rod. A bag with some... containing a diamond tip rod... a short scroll, and a couple of red bottle caps. Okay, there we go. Alright, so that's where we find the ritual tools. And okay. Elena comments on it. Wait, what's this? Malt will be like, a bundle? Looks like it could be some kind of magical tools. He doesn't need to comment that it's a bundle. Looks like it could be some kind of magical tools. Granny's gonna actually comment on that. Malter can reply, this must be what we are looking for. And Elena will be like, okay. She'll say, at last. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Make all of them flipping us off. I kind of like that idea. I can do that. I can do that in between streams, and see if I can come up with somewhere to use them. At this point, we are going to have a sound effect, specifically a roar or monster. We don't have roar, but I'm sure we have monster. We have 10 different monsters. Okay, so this is going to be the Dark Dragon. No. Oh, that's promising. No. No. I kind of like this one. Okay, so we play that. We wait 10 frames. We have a balloon icon over the player, exclamation. We'll have Thatcher comment on it. What was that? Change that so that we have less uses of the term what. This must be... what was that? And Elena will say... get down. It's coming from above. Okay. So, can I have something descend? Unfortunately, with a red dragon, we really can't do that. Okay, that works. Okay, so this is going to be Event Dragon, highest speed, normal, with a through command on. And now I need a different shading for that character. Let's see here. I don't have too much longer I can be working on this project, but I can definitely do a little bit more before I finish today. Let's see. We're looking for big monster. Big monster, this one. Okay, let's load up GIMP again. Because I do not have Photoshop. And now we need to adjust the color balance. So we want to increase the magenta. Okay, so the problem with this is the shadow area. We basically need to get rid of the shadow section so that we don't just have like a big shadowy area where we don't want one. Okay. Oh yeah, that's much better. We want more blue. And a little bit more cyan. So let's compare this with the enemy sprite. Okay. More magenta. I think that's about as good as we're going to get it. I want to make area art so bad, but I'm on vacation. I don't have drawing supplies. Ryu flipping us off. Okay. So this is Big Monster 2 Dark Dragon. Okay. So we got that. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we'll have it come down by 8. So at this point, the event dragon changes its image to Big Monster Dark Dragon. And move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We wait for the completion. And then that is where we have our battle. Copy that. And the battle processing against the Draco Lich boss. Yeah, that's a fine place. We don't need the self switch to turn on here. But the first thing we want to do after that is to turn transparent on for the event dragon. Okay, and then after this, Ryu's going to get another power-up. So let's check this out. So I'm pretty sure that I'm about to absolutely get my ass handed to me on this test. But let's check it out. Wait, could this be... Looks like it could be some kind of magical tools. Must be what we are looking for. At last. What was that? Get down, it's coming from above. God, I love this boss music. Holy crap, that is strong. Okay. Can we weaken this? Okay, he's hexed. That's a good start. We need growth ammo. Let's prepare 3 of those. Dragon Shift Green to reduce damage from physical attacks. Let's start prayer so we can soak more physical. Damn, dragon shifting is OP. Hell yes, growth shot for regeneration. Hell yeah. Okay, let's go Honestly, I think just regular attacks are probably best in this form. How does Ice Storm do? Ooh, that is... Oh, there's the HP swap. Okay, Justice Punch. Okay, that's a good chunk of damage. Let's go with Bottle Opener. No effect. Okay, I made it immune to expose. Not bad. Wing Buffet. Okay, I can still stun it. That's good. Zenith. Okay, that's a crap load of damage. Justice Punch. God damn, that's hard. A regen status idea. Mind if I yoink that? Yeah, go right ahead. Let's activate Enrichment. Okay, Wing Buffet. Okay, the Wing Buffet is very, very powerful. Justice Punch! Okay, he's not hexed anymore. Honestly, Bottle Cap Rain. Let's drop all we can on this thing. 2,900. Ryu, Wing Buffet. Okay, we're no longer regenerating. Let's hex it again. Okay, it's shuffling again. 4 random instances of damage followed by a health shuffle. More growth shot. Elena, Justice Punch. Ryu, let's Dragon Shift so we can Dragon Shift back and refresh the physical Dragon Guard effect. This is gonna hurt. Okay, Thatcher, healing on yourself, honestly. Because Ryu's gonna swap and it's gonna be fine. Malter, we could really use some energy here. Elena, go. Ooh, nice, you can counter his Vampiric Bite. Justice Punch! Ryu, Dragon Shift Green. Yeah, changing an actor's appearance mid-battle is not difficult. I can show you that after the test. Let's go with Zenith. Cheap energy drink for Malta. Ryu, Wing Buffet. Elena, Justice Punch. Malter. Let's go for the Baja Blast. Oh, there's the HP shuffle. Thatcher, Zenith. Yeah, so, I made this thing very, very strong. Justice Punch! Crap. We actually need... We kind of wanted Thatcher up to able to act right now. Wing Bucket! That's okay, we've got Dragon Guard up. Oh crap, it's not hexed. It's back at full offensive power. Oh god, and my regeneration wore off too. Growth Shot. Malter ran out of prepared ammo. Damn it, Thatcher! Alright, feeding. Yes! Now, how is that for a freaking boss fight? It is possible to beat it, even at level 12, even without any of the equipment that you get after you find the armory. The fight is absolutely doable, even at this level, with optimal play. That is so goddamn perfect to know. Next thing, we are going to desynchronize the smoke in here a little bit. Just because it is way too synchronized. The eye immediately recognizes the pattern. Okay. And just desync it a little bit. Okay. Let's take a look now. Oh yeah, that's much better. Okay. The eye isn't able to easily trace the movement pattern between all the wisps of smoke anymore. That's beautiful. We're going to have the dragon move one extra space down. And then play the sound effect once more before the fight begins. Complete with a screen shake of 30 frames. And just like that. All right. I'm glad that you all really get to enjoy this. Working on this project has been one of the just greatest delights of my past year. All right, let's see how it looks. Okay. So we want the screen shake to last longer. Like, let's give it a full 70 frames. Okay. Oh, that's perfect. Oh, God, that's so perfect. Okay. Last change is we're going to take this save point And we're actually going to move it up here so that you save right before the dragon. So that way you do basically have to handle the Undermines, the Infected Mine, and the Grim Furnace before you hit to another save. But you can access those directly from the surface of the Lachia. So I think that's good. Yeah, I think that works. Last thing we need to do is get the enemies set for the furnace. Also, we need to make sure that no enemies can fight you within the actual cistern itself. So let's apply this over the entire area. To make sure that random encounters will be disabled within this region. Since this is where you're going to be doing more walking. And the next thing we need to do is just design 2 more enemies. These are the enemies that you fight here in the furnace. So the first one I have is the Unburning Bones, which has a lovely image. It uses firebolts and also conflagration. And conflagration deals fire damage to all enemies. I also have Fire Burst, which is fine. And we need Burn. So this is going to be so-and-so ignites its targets, where it is going to add the condition of burning. With a bit stronger attack, a little more variation in the damage. So now we have a burning power. So the furnace flames are definitely able to do that. They can drop burn. And otherwise, they'll just use the fire bolts. I think that's fine. A fire spirit and a burnt cat girl. I'm not gonna have cat people down here. This is like an industrial area. This is not a place people would go and live. These creatures exist as just like a consequence of the area. Okay, let's make these slightly lucrative. Apply all of these rates. We're just going with like a few fire elemental stuff. Thought you said the stink condensum. I have no idea what you're referencing. These enemies are not especially like concerning. But we might as well 110, 60, 100. This thing has really high defense. We'll give it 100 attack, 90 agility. That should be fine, probably. And then the Phoenix is definitely going to be tougher. Where the hell is my Phoenix? Here it is. There we go. Phoenix. The Furnace Phoenix. Right, I did not adjust your HP. Was it set to like 700? I think that's fine. The Phoenix, though, is going to be like the big tough one here. So we're going to put that all the way up to 2,000. Dump some more power into its stats. Make it a lot faster. Make it a lot luckier. We're actually going to have ice not do a lot against it. It's just so hot that it doesn't really work. 250 gold each time you kill one. No drops, that's fine. So Fire Burst is definitely going to be something that it does very regularly. Burn is going to be like its basic attack. And then surely I can throw something... Oh, a Wing Buffet. Wing Buffet's good. I like that. And let's throw one other move onto it. Flash, which it can do on turn. Yeah, a group blinding effect, which it can do every 3 turns with a rating of 3. So that one is a bit less common. So we'll copy Eye Poke, put that here in event 370. Emits a blinding flash of light, which applies blind 50% to all enemies. And we need a flash like that. So that's just going to be blinding light. Snail made out of lava, and it has an iron shell. I don't have an asset for that. Okay, so there's the Furnace Phoenix. Let's check out what it is like going up against a Phoenix and 2 Living Flames. Whoops. This works better if I don't accidentally run away during the battle test. Okay. Okay. Please stop picking on Elena. We really do need our debug code, though. Okay. Ryu. Let's Dragon Shift Blue. I don't think I have a snail asset at all, is the thing. Baja Blast. Ha, now you can't use your powers. Oh my god. Everything you do is to Elena. Stop it. Jeez, you're annoying. Okay, Ice Breath. Okay, defenses are nice and high. Fire bolts are pretty strong. I need to not enrage it. I need to actually see what it can pull off. Holy crap. Yeah, that's a lot of damage. Okay. That works. So this is going to be Furnace 01. The 3 Unburning Bones will be the next fight. So that will be Furnace 02. Furnace 03 will just be 3 Living Flames. Furnace 4 is just going to be a Phoenix. And then Furnace 5 is going to be 2 Undying Bones and 2 Living Flames. Okay, there are our Furnace encounters. And now we just drop those into here. They only appear in Region 1. And copy. Gonna be ending stream here pretty soon. And I'm still going to have to design the sequence of events after you kill the dragon. Because Ryu's going to get another dragon buff and grow stronger again. What are they currently at? They're at Dragon Claws and Scales +5. Have I crafted +6 yet? I did, but I didn't name them. And Dragon Claws +6, that's good. Did I adjust the dragon buff for +6? 3, 4, 5. Okay. So if Ryu upgrades equals 5. Ryu does not learn Wing Buffet. But he does get Dragon Claws 6. And Dragon Scales 6. And then changes his equipment to the new stuff. And then removes the old stuff from the inventory. Perfect. Okay. So the next set of upgrades works. We're set. I mean, after this, after the player finishes this boss, they fly. Basically, Ryu temporarily is able to fly them up and out, which leads them to the Graveyard Gardens, where they exit from here. This is like the part of the Graveyard Gardens that accesses the furnace. So they're able to exit out of there, and from there they have the tools to access like the under Necropolis, whose entrance is going to be, like, over here. And then that's going to be it. That'll be the last dungeon, the last area of Wallachia in its entirety. And most of that's just going to be, like, a super multi-phase boss, very cool, against the False Hydra. Is treated like a pet or like another human? He's treated as a perfectly capable sapient life form. He is not treated as a pet or a mascot. I think we're set. Like, we basically just have one last dungeon and then a huge, complicated, multi-phase boss fight to build. And then, you know, like the coda after you beat it, like, you know, some resolution stuff. And then we are done with Wallachia. We have been here in Wallachia for 6 months building this stuff. And we are so close to having it done and being able to move on to the next part of the world, the next part of the game. For my own sanity and the idea of hopefully actually finishing this one day, we are probably never going to do something this complicated again. Like one giant city, multi-phase with multiple attached dungeons that are interconnected. We're probably not going to do that again, since this did take 6 months to build, and the rest of the game took, you know, the other 6 months. Cole suggested a swamp next, though. I think that's where I'm going to end it here for today. But for anybody who's stuck around, or anybody who does stick around watching the VOD, I'm not going to leave you hanging. We are going to show a fight against the imposters. So let's head down into the mines and walk around until we get a fight with one of the imposters. Oh, right. What's my debug code for... What's my debug code to just kill all the enemies? Max damage to all enemies. Code 321. Got it. Oh, and also, here's Zolterzite. Ah, that's supposed to be Zolterzite. Whoops. Hold on, gotta fix that. That's not supposed to be the ultimate boss, that is supposed to be Zolterzite. Cool. Alright, now let's go and find the imposter. Yeah, screw that. Code 321. There. We're just gonna run around. We're also going to test the Maltermite, or the Zolterzite, which, again, code 321. And you find an expired Pepsi, which reduces the encounter rate by half. The imposters are the rarest type of enemy to find here, but they're not, like, terribly uncommon. I freaking love my debug commands. Nice. Moving on. Where are they? Where are the imposters? Spellbooks. Holy crap, that hurts. Oh god. I mean, it makes sense. This area is supposed to be really, really hard if you haven't kept up with your gear. How much do we need to level up? Like, what kind of... Okay, that's reasonable. Get him, Ryu. Here's some flesh spawns. Debug. I don't think I have the assets to make crocodile people whole. Okay. Damn, the enemies here are tough. I mean, that is what I wanted. Good. I am really not running into these imposters. Although, to be fair, some of the specific enemy groups I really haven't run into much either, so... I think it's okay. Yeah, I mean, if you can make croc people that you want me to add, I will absolutely use them. I am not stopping this until I either get an Amogus, or this has been going on for another 10 fights. Crap! Now they're stronger. What's the code for a full heal? I wasn't actually thinking I'd need the full heal code. Okay, 017. They will not be Floridian or Aussie. They will be the unique creatures of this world. Okay, 017, fully healed. Those things are very tough. Alright, debug. Back to code 3, 2, 1. If you could clarify what you meant by asking, will they be Floridian or Aussie, maybe I could answer more clearly. But no, they are not Australians, and they are not Floridians. If you're talking about specific mannerisms, specific culture, if they're all running around with a shirt that says, I love Australia, accent. I'm not going to bother writing in accents. That just becomes very tiresome. Here we go! I finally found one! We found him. Red emerged. Ryu's party got the upper hand. Red is acting kinda sus. So, the imposters use party abilities. Like Lucky Slash. Or Baja Blast. And they have a crap load of health, and they really take a while to kill. If you do kill them, you get a lot of experience and a lot of gold. But if you take too long to beat them, they do something special. Red is venting away. Yep, if you take too long to beat the imposters, they vent. And then you're not going to get any of that money or XP. And that is how I designed the imposters. They all act that way. So they've got Dragon Roar, Lucky Slash, Baja Blast, Firebolt, and Vent. They reward 300 experience and 500 gold. So if you're using Malter to double that, that's 600 XP and 1,000 gold every time you manage to beat one. But it will take effort, because they have 3,000 HP. The dragon that you saw had 12,000 HP. State Resist, Hex. Yeah, I really don't have, like, a protection on here against stun. That is actually insane to me. Stun should absolutely be less common on these. We're gonna say stun is only 1/4 likely to actually affect them. So we want to apply that to Zalterzite, and then also to the strange zombie as well. Can we give the Amogus a Glock? I could, and I won't. This design was actually submitted to me by a viewer several months ago, and I would like to preserve the integrity of their original vision. But that's it. That's gonna be it for today. My God, we got so much done. We finished the furnace monsters. We added the ceiling items. We finished the rest of the Grim Furnace. We basically just have to add like a little event after that, and then like one more dungeon where we can throw in like crazy looking undead monsters. I'm thinking stuff like, I don't know, stuff like that. Stuff like that. We can just throw some crazy stuff out there. And then that will conclude with the big battle against the False Hydra. Wallachia wins. Everybody's happy. We're probably realistically looking at less than a month before we are completely finished with everything in Wallachia. Probably less than a month before we're actually moving on to new areas. I'm really excited about that. So that's going to be it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm glad that you could all be here. I always love getting new ideas to add to the project. The daily series that started, I think, yesterday is the gacha game I've been playing since it came out in, I think, March. Madoka Magica, Magia, etc. That's going to be going on for several more days. It's looking like there's probably going to be 8 episodes of that total, maybe 9. After that, I'm going to be playing the Hide Glide series of games, starting with Hide Glide for the NES, then Super Hide Glide on the Sega Genesis. And assuming at that point we are not all desperately begging for the pain to stop, we will move on to Virtual Hide Glide for Sega Saturn. Next Saturday will be another Terraria stream, probably Tuesday evening, maybe Tuesday morning. Sometime Tuesday, we're going to be doing the second Banjo-Kazooie stream. And I think that brings us up to date on everything. Yeah, I think we're good. So that is going to be it. And it is time to make the noise to summon the end of stream. And I will see you all on the next one. Wow, 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 wow.